Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, this is going to be a video for the hometown crowd. Listen, we need to talk about Governor-elect Ferguson. As you know, I have been deeply concerned about the policies that he would implement if he were elected governor. But I got to tell you, I'm a little bit more worried about something else. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Bob's overall mental health. I'm a little concerned that Bob's just not well. I think Bob might be suffering from a significant and rather acute case of Trump derangement syndrome. And even though he promised that he was going to start fixing all of the problems that he was complicit in creating, well, it appears that now that he's elected, he's going to turn his attention somewhere else. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about Bob Ferguson's very unhealthy obsessions. Okay, hey, before we get going too far down the road we're going down, let's remember that this video is being brought to us by our good friends at the Sonoran Desert Institute. That's right, get ready to launch your career in the firearms industry today. Get ready to start arming yourself with education today. And most importantly, start getting ready to defend the inalienable rights of millions of Americans nationwide, all through the act of education. The Sonoran Desert Institute has a degree and or certification program for just about anything that you may desire. So for more information, check them out in the description box below, or better yet, just visit them at sdi.edu. Okay, Washington, you might recall that our governor-elect spent several years as our attorney general, and during that time, I want you to know that he filed nearly 100 lawsuits against the Trump administration. Now, we know that our state is pressed with all sorts of problems in which Mr. Ferguson campaigned vociferously during the campaign season that he was ready to fix all of them. Well, what is the first act he has done as governor-elect? He has put together a huge subcommittee of just amazing individuals to start combating Washington's problem. What? Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, no, it's a committee that actually is going to protect Washingtonians from Project 2025. Yeah, we could have had a committee formed to try to get our gas prices under control, but no, that's not pressing enough. We could have had a committee formed to maybe start helping control housing prices, but no, that's not enough. We maybe could have had multiple committees formed to figure out how to start fighting crime and start beefing up our law enforcement in our local communities, but no, that's not pressing enough. We could have formed a committee to maybe start working on trying to cut back on the grotesque number of fentanyl overdose deaths that take place every day in the state of Washington, but no, we don't want to do that. Hey, we could have even done a committee just to prove public transportation, both from an efficiency and a safety standpoint, but nope, don't want to do that. So while we have all of those very legitimate, very pressing issues here in Washington state, where has the governor-elect turned all of his energy? That's right, into Project 2025. And a couple of the people who will be heading this amazing new committee include Jennifer Allen, CEO of the Planned Parenthood Alliance, and King County Council member Jorge Barron, who of course is deeply worried that the Trump administration is going to, and I don't know if you guys have heard this, might start deporting people who are here illegally. So Washington, this is how your new governor-elect is going to start fixing the problems. This is how he's going to start uniting the state. This is how he's going to start getting us on the road to financial recovery, is by combating Project 2025. Now, I don't want to get too far down a rabbit hole. You guys can do your own research, but you will know that Project 2025 comes from a conservative think tank called the Hereitage Group. I actually pay close attention to one of the members of the Hereitage Group because they have a tendency to write really good policy statements as it relates to Second Amendment issues. This is nothing more than a conservative think tank, and there are hundreds of them. And there are also liberal think tanks out there where you get a bunch of brainiacs together and they all powwow and figure out how they're going to solve the world's problems, and they issue papers and other documents proposing and advocating for certain types of policies, okay? Now, the Trump administration, despite the fact that they have vociferously distanced themselves from Project 2025, the fact that the president-elect has said that portions of 2025 are absolutely ridiculous, or the words that he used was abysmal, hey, that doesn't stop your governor-elect from forming a committee to stop the evils of Project 2025 from, as the governor-elect put it, attacking our core rights here in Washington State. Well, you know what another core right is here in Washington State? It's actually one that's given to us by the federal Constitution. It's our Second Amendment rights. And yet the Attorney General, now governor-elect, has shown no hesitation in attacking any of those core rights. And let us also remember that the only other committee that Governor-elect Ferguson has formed at this point is a committee to start working on hate speech and right-wing extremism. Because as we know, many of the problems that we have here in Washington State, from high crime, ridiculous housing costs, crazy homelessness, a massive drug issue, and all that, much of that is caused by right-wing extremism. Hey, Governor-elect, maybe a committee to protect us from the boogeyman, because that has about as much threat to us as Project 2025. Or maybe we ought to just form a committee to see how racial discrimination is impacting the Sasquatch community, because there's a higher likelihood that that has existed and there has been some impact on the Sasquatch community than there will be Project 2025 having any impact on any Washington resident ever. But this shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you, Washington, even those of you who voted for Bob Ferguson. Because let us remember, during his time as Attorney General, when he was spending all his time and energy suing the Trump administration more than 100 times, that's when we saw the increase in homelessness, the increase in crime, the decrease in the policing of our community, and all the problems associated therewith. This all happened under his watch. Why would anyone expect for even a moment that this is going to be fixed under his watch? Listen, this unhealthy obsession that Governor-elect Ferguson has with Donald Trump is not only going to keep him from even attempting to solve any of the problems that matter to us, but worse yet, it is really indicative of perhaps a larger, more personal mental health issue that probably he should see a professional about. So bottom line is, Washington State, you better buckle up, because this governor has no intention of solving any of your problems and only sowing more and more division into this state's moral fabric. Listen, if you got any more questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, which in Washington State is not much, you should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, what you do is you click on that link right there and you let us know. If you want to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, the ability to do all of that is right down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.